Hello everyone and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobbie and I'll be your guide for today. Today I'm going to discuss some things that my team has been bringing through about this huge shift that's happening with a lot of us in this time, in this moment. Before I start, just a bit of housekeeping. I have a school called AMAKEL that's on Patreon. If you want to go join that, then you can dabble in a lot of telepathic games. I also have a brand new channel called Codes to a New Reality that's up on YouTube. If you want to go check that out, the links are down below. And I am also an intuitive counselor and reader. If you want to book me as a one-on-one through Zoom, then yeah, the link is down below for that as well. Let's get into these channel messages. Oh yeah, and please subscribe, like, and all that sort of stuff would be great. Okay, so my team's been bringing through that there's this massive shift that's happening because there are certain personas or people that are feeling like there's a brand new beginning, but they know that they're bringing it forth. They know that they have enough tenacity or control within their mind now to use their imagination to create a new path. And that new path for humanity is going to start with a very malleable, kind of a flexible intro of the people that understand this within themselves as being the creator of reality. We all are, by the way, but we don't realize it. Many don't realize it, but the ones that do, and they're going to learn to use their imagination to be able to carve a new path would be specifically for their path, specifically to make them happy. And then they'll understand where that goes for themselves, and then others will have similar ideas of what reality could be, excuse me, and then that will bring them together as a community, township, things that they have in common, that sort of thing. And then they create from that. So they were showing me that this is happening all over the world in different pockets, where someone who is grounded a certain business will then match up with other people with their businesses in line with them. So it could be that you're still sparsely, you're all over the world, but you're still kind of unite as a family together, even online and that sort of thing, because you have a specific goal in sync. But there are definitely those that have this full understanding or full awareness that they are the creator of their reality, and they are completely shifted away from the programmed reality that was poured over humanity's eyes. Most of them are those that have come from different higher dimensional places, planets, just dimensions that are on Earth, different timelines like Lemuria and that sort of those sort of places that held beauty, more feminine aspects of humanity being ignited, which is the imagination. And then that's going to pull a lot more stability in on Earth that is lining up with Earth becoming a much beautiful place for the soul to experience. So yeah, that is happening right now. It's like a shift, and what you might feel if you are one of those is you feel quite drained, tired, sleeping a lot more, that sort of thing, because there's a lot of energy being expelled in the fact that you are making that shift yourself. But also messages might be coming to you of how to navigate this that you can share with others. This is all a sharing game to be able to expand and bring as many into this circle of realizing that we're the creators of our reality together, and we are now taking the reins and responsibility to what we create in this next journey that humanity is going on. But they're saying it's very malleable at the moment because the ones that have come from the higher dimensions have set kind of frequencies that they're pulling in on Earth, and those set frequencies that they're pulling in on Earth are to do with where they've come from, but it's not necessarily where the whole of humanity's consciousness is wanting to go. Remember, it's what we accept within that masculine logical mind, the masculine part of ourselves and the masculine outside of ourselves that holds that it becomes the reality. So there's first integration that we would have had to go through our shadow work to be able to integrate our feminine and masculine within ourselves. That's the intuitive speaking to the logic speaking to the intuitive. They don't have to fully understand each other, but there's a kind of an appreciation for both within you. I now appreciate my intuitive side and my imaginative side just as much as I appreciate my logical side. So you would have already gone through that to be able to come together within yourself where you're not coming from a warring zone of fear-based antagonization within your own mind of I shouldn't be thinking that, or I should have followed my intuition, or what's my imagination doing now? It's just telling me stuff that I shouldn't even listen to. It's not something that's acceptable in society. That's the warring zone. That's coming together. Now that in itself is then opening you up to all of your past lives and all of your, they're saying that even your future lives. And so you can come together with the wisdom of all of that intact, and you create this story that is in the here and now of what makes you feel really good. And so you're creating a new path. So those that are feeling this at the moment, they would have had, you'd understand what I'm talking about. There's like an awareness within yourself of, I get that so much. And I've been getting these feelings of really starting to focus in on what I want to create in my reality for me that is conducive to everybody outside, and it is spurred by love. It is just love going on a journey. The fear is falling away. You're not so afraid to get up and go live or whatever, or do whatever you need to do to be exactly you, your authentic self, because you know that where you're coming from is from your heart, and that's what you're grounding in this reality now, even if it doesn't fit the so-called norm of outside of ourselves and what people expect of us. You're becoming that. So there's a lot of us that are holding this at the moment. It's literally a holding cell or a holding place within yourself and you'll be very protected in that in the moment, because you're holding this understanding or awareness that it goes beyond what societal norm would see it as. So that's going on at the moment. I just opened up this chat bar. I don't even know. Hey, Sky, good to see you on YouTube. Yeah, so that's happening at the moment. Now I have channeled through a couple of things that they wanted to bring up because of this shift and change that's happening within humanity's consciousness, which is bringing in a new beginning, a whole new beginning, a whole new awareness of oneself and how they were entangled in the old story. And you could be on the verge of understanding this, and this could just be planting a seed for you to get it. Yeah, okay, so we'll go into a couple of things that I wrote down during the week, and we'll talk about that as well. So they said that more people are going to shift into acknowledging themselves as more than just their bodies soon. So this is what's coming up for humanity's consciousness and the awareness of that you are not just the body and the five senses, touch, sight, hearing, taste, that there is more. There's the etherical world that opens and expands humanity, you as yourself, up into a lot more understanding about so much more. And it's bringing in gifts as well. But they wanted to point this out as well, that spirituality is an awareness of one's soul, because these words can be warped and squiffed, and then people go, oh, spirituality, oh, that's the ones that do the crystals and the tarot and stuff like that. And it's not necessarily the wholeness of what we're talking about here. People go into that because they start to become more empathic, and so they're more in tune with their intuition, and they use tools outside of themselves to become even more in tune. But that can go even further than that, where we don't need that if we don't want to, and we can play with it if we do. There's no absolute here in how you move through your spiritual self-awakening. You could be someone that doesn't even like crystals, doesn't even like tarots, doesn't like that sort of stuff at all. You're very logically based, but you're opening to these new feelings, these new experiences, and that's what's more important, because you're starting to now acknowledge that you're not hiding away from your feelings, you're not hiding away from your emotions, you're purging through them, and you're understanding a lot more about yourself. Because of that, you're facing those fears. So they said spirituality is an awareness of one's soul that is woven into your here and now. It is not something outside of you that you have to worship or control. It is an awareness of you as your whole self, that you are not only the separated body, but you are also the awareness of yourself as source energy, going on a journey to discover what you can do while you are in this body living on earth. So you're coming from a whole new perspective there. That's a new perspective of you seeing yourself through the eyes of your soul, as well as you are your body that you have to look after in a physical sense and take care of, and do things that are healthy and that sort of thing. But when you're in tune with your soul will then give you information on how to keep your body healthy. And and your soul will give you information that is probably beyond what other people are telling you, because it's specific for your unique self and what your body needs, whether it needs to be alkaline, whether it needs specific things to keep you feeling young and vibrant and that sort of thing. It's totally then more of a connection to your soul that gives you an alignment of the next, what you need, what your body needs. And so we stop looking at all of these programs that are outside of us that's worked for one person over in another country, and it might not work for you in your country. It might not work for you because you're surrounded by a different environment, different weather patterns, different pollens, different whatever it is that's in your environment. So now we're learning to come back to ourselves and trusting that our soul knows the best for our path. And we're no longer looking for that guidance outside of ourselves. We are trusting who we are. This is what spirituality is, a trusting in ourselves now, that we are the leader and the guides to our own, and responsibility to our own creation that we're pulling through. So, or living, I should say. So things like working till we're exhausted, bored, or anxious, that's not what humans are here for. And this is the big shift. This is the big beginning. We're all starting to awaken, whether you're spiritually in line or not, whatever. People are starting to awaken to this because it's exhausting. We're not here on earth to be exhausted, bored, anxious. That's not why we came here. And if you are that, then that's because there's something in you that is still stuck on the old program that you thought you had to experience, or you have to be that in order to survive. And that's the program poured over us through fear. To survive here, we have to do this, and this, even if you feel crap. And that's not the truth. We are here to learn to feel again and to connect out of compassion, to do what makes us happiest. including everyone else in your immediate reality. So that is including everyone that is in your immediate reality becomes you, a mirror to you as well. So if they're not happy, there's a part of you that's experiencing that to either help guide, shift, or even walk away if you have to let them be on their own, to be able to go through their own stuff. But there's still part of you, and so your love and your compassion, your energy flows through to them to be able to help them awaken. So we are here to learn to feel again and connect out of compassion, to do what makes us happiest, including everyone else, to explore and to grow, to love and to dance. This is why we came to Earth. Anything else is a dishonor to be being given this human experience. And that was powerful right there. When you start to realize anything else other than you being the happiest you can be, to be able to be free to explore this beautiful planet where the rules just fall away because you are now free to explore what you want. When you start to align yourself with that imagination and that frequency, you'll start to see your outer world wobble. And the wobbling is conducive to the new businesses that are coming in of, well, actually there's a whole other story going on over here where this person is doing this as for free and helping out for free, and that, let's go into that. We're feeling a lot freer within ourselves. There's a trust gain that's happening, a sharing that gain that's happening. So to be in that anxiousness and all of that, that's a dishonor to you as a soul in this body. And we have been doing that to ourselves and playing the victim role, feeling that we can't get ourselves out of it because our imagination was hijacked by the program of only following what somebody else told us that has to be in the society to make the society work. But it was a society built on just a few feeling good about what was going on. And even they don't, honestly, because they were only challenging themselves with trying to control everyone outside of themselves to make themselves feel good, where inside they weren't feeling good. That's why they had to control everyone outside themselves. I hope you're keeping up with this. Good morning, Horse Haven and Nicole, Irene from Irina from Facebook, and the others are from YouTube. Okay, we need to start to remember our gifts, such as our past lives, feeling into Akashic records or oneness. I've put them in the same box because when you go into an Akashic record, you're actually in tuned with oneness and the vastness of the cosmos, of all of the sources of energy or soul's experiences that you can tune into, where we all have this capability. It's not just me or channelers. We're all got the same brain. I have the same brain as you, remember? So like if you see someone else has that ability, so too do you. You just have a blockage that's stopping you or preventing you through the program that was poured over your eyes. So this is all for everyone. To open up telepathy and more. First, we need to know stronger boundaries, but also we start to truly feel that whatever we have done to another, we will on some timeline experience this ourselves. So then that shifts humanity into realizing, when you realize what you do to another, you're probably going to experience it on another timeline yourself. When you start to realize that, you will no longer want to hurt another person, because your awareness of your feelings means you wouldn't want to inflict your wounds onto another. Your actual awareness of your feelings means you wouldn't want to do that. This is how we're raising the bar into these higher dimensions. We realize that we don't want to hurt another person, another soul. We can help it. Of course, things happen because people are coming from their wounds, but it's not your responsibility for their wounds, but you won't inflict pain on others. And I think that was one thing that kept us trapped. Is to, if you're so powerful, you can inflict a wound on me. No, it doesn't work that way. The power rises with the compassion. It's the same thing. The power that we are talking about in these other higher dimensions is rising with compassion. This is why you go through a hermit stage when you start to awaken, It's not only to protect yourself, but also to go within to heal your own wounds so you don't inflict pain on another. And that's the responsibility that we've had, many of us that are awakening, that have awoken, to understanding that we're creator of our own reality. We have hermetized ourselves, literally pulled ourselves away from everyone and friends and everything, and fallen away. Because of the power that we're learning to handle, we're also learning to handle that with compassion. And we don't want to inflict our wounds onto other people. And so we hermetize ourselves as well. We're also saving ourselves from the wounds of other people inflicting their pain on us while we're going through this transformation as well. So the hermit stage is very valuable in that respect. Your awareness through dealing with your own feelings gives you that edge as you become more empathic, which is setting you up to become more telepathic. And telepathy is the original lost multiversal language that is our connection to all through frequency. But we have to have gone through understanding our emotions. So you can see where this is going now. It's like, oh, I had to go through all of that crap. But then you can kind of see the opening that it is to you and the valuableness of understanding your own feelings. And then when you understand your own feelings, you feel more. When you feel more, you can literally talk to things that you weren't talking to before. It's like that. My youngest daughter, she used to talk to plants and things that weren't so-called meant to be able to talk, but she conversed with them. We had that ability. She was a lot clearer at that stage within herself. She wasn't entangled in the program, right? That was poured over humanity to keep us out of that. And that program literally wanted to keep us away from the telepathic experience, because many eons ago, when we started to dabble, this is many eons ago, started to dabble in learning about our physical world. When we started that, we were entangling a lot of other dimensional beings into it because of our openness with our feelings. And our frequency of being able to be telepathic. That was what was cut. That was what was severed from humanity. That was the fall that humanity went through to stop them from being telepathic with plants, with other beings, with other things that could give them a lot more wisdom, so that we could play in the outside world and try to get a hang of what that all means, creating in an outer way only. But this is the moment in time where the new beginning happens, where we're coming back to understanding we are opening up to this new creation. So yeah, it's all very serious stuff at the moment, but through this, we have the eclipses that's happening at the moment. We have the blood moon that's happening at the moment. And that was pretty much over my birthday. I always see my birthday as the 6th and the 7th of September, because for the first 7 years of my life, I had it on the 7th, because my parents got a little bit confused and mixed that up. There's definitely some sort of something happening at the moment within those that are definitely awoken to being the holding a position around the earth, holding themselves as these enlightened souls of knowing that they are creating a new reality, a newness. So you might even find that your life is not quite settled, but you have these beautiful imaginings that you want to bring forth for yourself. It's not for you to imagine for the rest of the world. You can only come from your happiness, and that is enough, because your happiness is entangled with these other dimensions and past lives and stuff where you remember being the happiest version of yourself. You are learning to ground the happiest version of yourself in the now, here and now, for humanity to have something to rise up to be able to understand that they can rise out of limited program that was poured over them. So it's quite beautiful at the moment. That's something that's happening that's quite beautiful at the moment. Yeah. Okay, I'll see what else comes through. Okay, so just grab my little crystals and see what else happens. So somehow I'm taken to nature, and they're saying those that are doing this might have a pull to go to the ocean or go to a stream or go to something. That those that are actually holding this might have a pull to go into water to cleanse themselves. If you can't, then take a bath with some Epsom salts or something, or some magnesium salts. Something to do with that, to feeling the freshness or coming into, find a way to feel really relaxed. Move through this next stage as a flowy sort of if you start to feel anxious, then the most important thing, even if it's anxiousness on I've got to get this done, let it go. And just the most important thing is to feel into what's going to relax you in the moment. That's more important than getting something finished, because you're lining yourself up to everything is going to be coming in at the right time, at the right stage for you anyway. And that will all sort itself out once you realize your vibration staying in the kind of more harmonious pattern is conducive to what you're actually trying to create. Otherwise you get pulled back into the old program of having to do instead of be, and that's more important. What else have we got here that we're going to go through? What can help those that are going through this at the moment? Yeah, don't feel like the whole world is on your shoulders. Just come back to your own essence of who you are. That's really important at the moment. They're saying practice using your imagination to imagine a new story that's coming in. Feel into those new stories that you want to bring in as much as you possibly can. That's going to help no end. Don't be afraid to tune into past lives and stuff. And there's something about watching things that are more in tune with that. There's not a lot out there, I found, that are like movies that can help us in tune with the memory. Well, not for me anyway. The memory that I have of Pleiades is just so vastly more beautiful and expansive and gorgeous, and the colors and everything than what the movies are showing. I really would love to make a movie of that, because it's just beyond, like, the closest thing I can feel into is taking me off this planet with Star Trek or Orville. There's a series called Orville. I think it's Orville. The Orville. I can't remember, but things that go off this planet. But even so, even if you can't find something that is in tune for you and what you're trying to ground here, the experience that you're trying to share with humanity's imagination as they open up to their imagination, just you have to really start to have faith that your imagination is coming from somewhere. It's coming from another life. It's coming from something that's tangibly evident. The reason why Mother Earth even allowed you to be born here is because you hold that code. That is a code within you, a frequency that is within you that wants to share with the imagination of humanity, to give them a way out, to help them find a way out of the maze that they have found themselves in, going round and round in circles with just the logical mind, looking outside themselves for guidance. So they're awakening to their imagination, the realization that they are more than just the body. And as that happens, then we've positioned ourselves, or those that have come here with a specific job to hold new imaginations for humanity. We're specifically now learning to hold that for humanity's consciousness. So you don't actually have to go up to someone and tell them the experience, although I love creating videos like the portals through to Pleiades and Arcturus and that sort of thing. I love creating those things because it makes me feel good. So, but you don't have to. You just have to hold that imagination in place because it's already shared. It's literally comes into this soul source energy belt of humanity's consciousness. It becomes part of it because you're here in a tangible way. You're a human. You're experiencing all the other feelings that they have as well. So that imagination now becomes entangled into the vortex of humanity as they're awakening, even if they were stuck for eons. They start to have these stories run through them as well. And they're like, oh my God, I just had the best feeling and I don't even know where it came from. Well, it might have come from one of, the people that are holding the imagination of those other. Yeah. And so then they like, well, now I know that feeling, how beautiful that feeling is. How do I get to return to that again? And when a human asks that question, you're already on the right path. When a human asks, how do I get to that feeling? They have a compass now to returning back to that, which they lost and they were stuck in going round and round. It's kind of like my team gave me that dream of stepping into the potential of humanity. Whether I've been there, I will go there, or it was an experience that I know I've either had or I've had. And in that moment, in that dream, I was present with it, the clarity of my mind. It gave me a compass. And that was back in early 2000s when I had that dream. So since then, I'm like, I know where I'm going. And once you know that feeling and you know where you're going, and it's not something that was taken, substance that was taken out. So you can find those feelings from a substance that's taken from outside of you, but it doesn't have to be. Once you know that feeling and you want to return to it, you don't want to be relying on a substance, on anything outside of you. You want to get to that within your own mind, and how you progress. And like my whole game was, how do I find stillness of mind? That was literally a lure for me because it felt so darn good. It felt so good. I couldn't even, it goes beyond everything because the clarity that came with that stillness of my mind, it just, you were telepathic, you were telekinetic, you were able to manifest things. You rose you above the program. There was no program that could keep hold of that anymore. And that's what they have been trying to cap in humanity. They've been trying to stop humanity from getting in touch with their feelings, being afraid of their feelings and their emotions, and the emotions that are pulling up because they're not in touch with their feelings. They've been trying to stop us from facing that, telling those that are feeling-based people that they are weak. And really there is a tenacity behind them that shifts stories, that actually makes things work in their favor. And it's not until they decide within themselves, I've had enough of that it would stop. I know that with myself, when I come in alignment with stories that I really am curious about, whether someone's in the way or not, I go there. And then when I've had enough of that story, then I let it all fall. To someone outside of me might think that I'm weak for going down that path and feeling those feelings and crying while I'm going through it and all of that sort of stuff. But to me, it's an expansion of myself. It's a maturity. It's an understanding of more of who I am and a realization that I can shift stories as I go along in my journey, which gives me a very stable understanding. Like, even if society takes everything away from me, which it has on many occasions, where I've had literally zero in my bank account and I've had no house, like I don't even have a home now and that sort of stuff. I still am here. I still am surrounded by beauty. I am still looked after. I'm not in the program anymore. I'm kind of beyond it in that respect. So humanity doesn't have to follow the program in order to feel safe on this earth. That's another big thing that they're pulling through now. We are teaching humanity not to feel like they need to follow the program in order to feel safe on this earth. They've been taught that that's the only way, and it's a very limited way, very, very limited, because it's cut themselves from their soul, their understanding of who they truly are, and the authentic self, which stops a lot of wisdom coming through, pulling through. And that's why they look outside themselves for guidance and authority. Hey, Katrina. Zina. I'm saying that wrong. Yeah, Nicole, feeling very supported by this message today. Thank you. You're welcome, Nicole. You always go with me, don't you, as you go along. Hey, Ken from Facebook. Good to see you. Yeah. So there's a lot that's going to shift up. There's a lot that's going to change, and an understanding of who you are. Now, there is absolutely no how you want to approach this next phase, because there's a next phase happening for everyone, whether you are stepping out of the revolving program and you're just starting to awaken up to your spirituality, or whether you are holding an imagination for the rest of humanity, and all that in between. Everyone is going through a shift at the moment, but it doesn't matter how you do it. There is no, you have to do it this way. That is the program that was pulled over us to condition us into following somebody else's rules. You are the creator of your own rules on what you feel is right for you in each and every moment. If you want to drink a wine, go have a drink of wine. If you want to play with the tarot cards, go play with the tarot cards. If you want to, go build something and keep your hands busy, then go do it. But also be aware of your feelings in the moment. This is what we're learning to do, is to be aware of our feelings. As soon as it starts to feel annoying, anxiousness, fear-based, whatever, then stop, and then go into yourself and go, what's going to make me happy, even if you have to leave that job, even if someone's asking for it. Remember, if you're in clarity with yourself, you will do, everything will start to become flowing. It will go right. So you might leave that job and think, oh my God, I've only got 4 hours to finish it. And then you go away for 15 minutes and do something completely different that's off kilter, and you like, I don't even know why I'm doing this, but it's making me happy in this moment. And when you relax into that, then you're like, oh, now I feel like going back to the job again, but I feel a lot happier about it. You've cleared something about clearing up your energy belt, your energy field, that you're not pushing something, and then you'll find the hammers and the nails and everything just comes together. It's all a flow and it goes really quickly, and you finished it within an hour. So that's happened with me a lot. Like, I pull back a lot with my, you know how many videos I put up, and they take a lot of work, those videos, even the short ones that are on my new YouTube, that's Codes to a New Reality. They are powerful messages and they're short, but there's a lot of work that goes into those. And how I do it is I'll only do it when I'm feeling really good about what I'm doing. And so they get done a lot quicker, because it just comes in sync. It's like the images that I want are just there. The music, I just find it within the first couple of songs that I've looked at. It just all happens so quickly. So that's because I'm in the zone and I am in tuned with myself and trusting that I'm feeling is coming from love of myself, because I want to bring in on earth happy vibes. I want to bring in on earth something that feels really good. I don't want to bring in anxiousness and we're going to get this done and pushing and resistance. I don't want to bring that on earth. There's been enough of that on earth. I'm here to help others navigate their path through a much more flowing, trusting game that works for everyone. And I bet you anything, things start flowing a lot quicker and easier for you. Yeah, so this is a real trusting game. Now, you're not to be rude to others. If someone's in my reality, then I take them into account. I'm not going to turn around and go, oh, I feel anxious, go away, or anything like that. I take that in, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting that happened. Could we shift the conversation to something else? I just feel a little anxious with that conversation at the moment, and maybe I've got to go readdress that on my own as a hermit, or maybe it's something that you have to talk out with the person. You feel into what's right for you in that moment. You might need them to talk it out. See what I'm saying? There is no right and there is no wrong, but it's coming from you and trusting your game and how you're feeling as you go along. Because nothing's perfect. You're not going to have everything absolutely perfect. But I have to say, the clarity of mind that I had in this dream, that was pretty close to freaking perfect in my books. That was like, wow. I've only experienced glimpses of that in my day-to-day. There's moments where I can feel totally in the zone, where absolutely nothing is worrying me. There's no monkey mind. But in the dream, it held for hours. And, we had visitors and they teleported there, and like it was a higher vibration that humanity could reach. And I knew that it was that, a higher vibration that humanity could reach. And I knew that was one of my codes to be able to share with humanity once I've truly found it within myself and keep returning back to it. So I want to experience life as well. There is resistance in the experience of life, but you become the observer of the resistance and see if it's got value for you in the lessons that you move along. Is this something I need to have a resistance to at the moment because there's something that I want to learn from this, or experience it so I can share with others of how to get out of it and that sort of thing. Is there anything else that wants to come forth at the moment? I feel like I'm talking to my higher self or channeling through my higher self at the moment. Sky, that's such a cool message. I felt I had to push, but I've come back to myself and what makes us happy. Then things that just change in my favor. Yeah, it's so good when that happens and you see the results straight away. You understand that you are shifting. You are the pinnacle of your story that you're creating through the vibrational meat that you have within yourself. And whether you are anxious or in fear or in anger or whatever, and what you need to do to either experience that or remove yourself from it and learn from it in a hermit stage is up to you. But you can. If they always told me the faster you can shift the story, the more freedom you have. The more freedom you have to try new things too. You don't have the fear anymore because someone could show up and say something quite nasty to me, and I don't hold on to it because I know how to shift my story back into sovereignness of myself, of trusting myself and my finding my own happiness. I'm not reliant on someone else to give me my happiness anymore. So there's no codependency there when it comes to that. If I'm not relying on someone else's happiness, I'm relying on my own happiness. They're just a beautiful extra on top of the already iced cake of my life. It's just, wow, it even gets better because there's someone in line with me that wants to be happy with me, you know, that sort of thing. But I take full responsibility for my own happiness now. That was a big, long lesson. That took a long time. And my last relationship with Michael, that's what shifted that actually made me realize I can't be reliant on somebody else to make me happy anymore. I find my own happiness. And if every human on earth did that, can you imagine there's no codependency relationships anymore? Wow, like talk about a shift into a higher vibration. It would be awesome. There'll be so much more love because we are responsible, and we always have been. We're born into this life and we leave this life as just us. We don't take other people with us and merge with them when we die. We are just us, right? That we are responsible to be birth, we're responsible for death, and we're responsible for how we live. And then the relationships then come together with more harmony, more conduciveness to be able to live with other people and trust other people because you trust yourself and how you're moving through your life and what you choose to bring in and experience. And so you're more likely to have a relationship that lasts, is everlasting, because you're both taking responsibility for your own happiness. So yeah, a little bit of counseling session there. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. But yeah, this new beginning that's happening, they're showing me, weirdly enough, why are they bringing crystals in all the time? Something to do with the crystals within your own consciousness. They're showing me the pineal gland and the crystals within the pineal gland being awoken to the soul now, the soul being flushed through as a light experience. Light holds wisdom. Wisdom will come into your reality as your wholeness. Vibrational meets and somatic patterns within the pineal gland meeting that, opening yourself up to being able to be telepathic and communicate with vast awareness of knowledges of past lives and future lives in the present stage of your awareness now. This has definitely been channeled. We are coming together as one to be able to enter that cave of Brahma within your awareness. It is a vortex of unlimited possibilities that you choose in every moment to experience. You could go wherever you really wish to go because the fear falls away. Literally, they're showing me someone that's tethered to their body. Even that it's like the experience is, I am my body is me. I don't need to feel like if I tethered to it. It is the experience that I am. I am always ever present to that. Something about that happening where your choice was already made before, and now we're learning to come into the value of that. So there's a lot that are awakening now as humans on this plane of existence to their so-called mission. We all have missions as we're brought into this world, but mission is in holding responsibility for lifting many. That they are going to become more aware of their own pattern. There's something to do with frequency pattern, aligning with music that works for you. They're showing me crop circles that align with your pineal gland and meditating over them, but they're showing me you becoming more aware of yourself as that vibration. So you not only are the body, you are also the vibrational awareness of yourself as you move through this life. And when you ground that into this body more, or you're accepting it, it's already present, but there's an acceptance of yourself that when you accept that, you become more of a leader or a guide for others. You become something that is just as a guidance. It's kind of like they showed me when I was 19 going up an escalator, and I went to a mountain where I was walking up this mountain with everybody else, and I was having a lot of exhaustion and that with everybody else, and I literally took a break, which I did years ago in the middle of this mountain. Then I'm like, okay, I have to climb the top to the top, and when I get to the top with everybody else, there was a massive maze in front of me, and everyone turned to me and said, you're to lead us through the maze. So there's a guidance that happens of realizing that when we get to that maze, we need to find a way out. So the maze is the logical program that's been poured over humanity's eyes, and how to release ourselves from that matrix that was poured over us, as in that's the only way you can go. So you've been following a leader that's been taking you in circles and circles, and they've been siphoning off your energy. As you go round in circles in this maze, they keep on siphoning off your energy as you go round like this hamster, give you just enough to survive, and then they siphon off your energy as you go along. So you're the worker bee for their existence. And now I'm here to shift you out of that, but we have to literally open up portals within yourself, your own consciousness, to open a gateway to be able to see a doorway. They're showing me something that you never saw before. It was always existing there, but because your alignment was in the self deprivation of feeling anxiousness, and that it kept you away from seeing this portal, this door, or this understanding that was always within you. And that opening up is going to mean that you're going to have to learn to be able to navigate through your emotions, to be able to feel again. To be able to feel again means that you're now expanding yourself into more telepathy, more connection to way more, and you don't need to follow their advice anymore, because you see this massive expansion that was hidden from you, massive wisdom that was hidden from you. And so now you're walking through this doorway in this maze that wasn't there, didn't seem to be there before. But this is all happening within you. So you have to go through the purging and the hermit stage and all of that sort of thing. And then you come out the other end of, wow, I am authentically me now in this body. I know who I am, and I'm going to step up into that role of being who I am, because there's a lot of wisdom that you had in your past lives that you were repressing because of the people persecuting you, killing you off even, and that sort of thing in your past lives. So you become fearful of your power, but that was only because you were caught in their matrix of just surviving, so that they could siphon off your energy. They always show me that. But this shift that's happening right now, this is a powerful shift into understanding you are way more than just your body. You don't need to listen to the advice of those that are coming from their own fear, trying to control many outside of them, because you want to control your own mind, your own self, your own, and trusting in things that you didn't trust before, your own intuition, your own imagination. Don't see it as an airy-fairy thing. There's a value in that. It never left humanity because it was part of humanity. It never could ever be completely severed from humanity's consciousness, because it was always a part of us, because we are source energy, and that source energy has a connection to all of these past lives and experiences and other dimensions and that sort of thing. Yeah. So that's what I'm channeling through at the moment. We're going to put show me a stamp. We're going to put a stamp on this. No longer returning back to that. Once you see that doorway within your own consciousness, there's no turning back anyway, because you'll go round in circles and still see the doorway, and you're like, am I going to ever have the tenacity or the bravery to move through into something completely new? And that's the logical mind that likes you to keep going around in circles, because it likes logical self, or the masculine self, is here to create a linear story for us to experience where we can feel tangible objects and we're separated from everything. It has to have that program within humanity's consciousness, otherwise we just become a dream, and we don't want to just become a dream. That's another reality. This is all about unification of the stable world and our magical world. We want to unify them both, so we bring magic into the logical world, or the practical playing field of the earth as we know it, as a tangible thing, and experiencing other people's energy, even plants and that sort of animals, their other energies, but also be open to the wisdom that comes with that. So we want to be able to bring that through too. Okay, guys, I think I channeled enough for this morning. Don't watch out for the next thing. I'm working on my next one for Codes to a New Reality. Is all about shifting timelines. So it goes completely with this. It'll be another week before it's up. I'm going to take my time with those ones. I'm not going to rush. I tend to feel like I need to do one a week, and I'm going to just not do that so much anymore. But yeah, I think I'll love you and leave you here, guys. Don't forget, if you want a one-on-one counseling with me, my link is down below. Until next time, bye.